Well, good morning. It is a Monday edition of Ask the Pastor. And today we got some really good and solid questions from Karen Leslie and from Sue Woodard. I'm kind of combining these three or four questions into one or two and to answer them because they're pretty much along the same lines. So the first one is, will we be united with our loved ones after we die? Do pets get to go to heaven? And can people in heaven see what is happening on earth? And so just great questions and challenging ones as well. And I thank you for asking them. So in Karen's question, she says that one of these questions came up in her mother's Bible study, and that both sides had passages to support the view about can people in heaven see what's going on earth? And so I want to address that one first. And so my question is, I'd really like to see what those Bible passages are and see what's going on with them. Because to my knowledge, and as I read the Bible and as I've studied it and read theologians and those sorts of things, there's really nothing that supports that unless you were to take a passage, a verse or two, and just take them for the written word that is before us and kind of take them out of context and what the original meaning of that is. And so I'll give you an example, and this is probably one of the examples that was used in that study, is from Hebrews, where it says that we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. And we use that on All Saints' Day, and it's a good and solid passage, but what that passage is talking about is the previous chapter, where it lists Moses and Barak and a whole list of people that are witnesses to our faith, not that they are witnesses in heaven, whatever that may be, but they are witnesses to our faith for the good deeds and the works that they have done on earth for God's kingdom. So, context matters with these passages, and I'm not sure exactly which ones she was talking about. But can people see what happens on earth after they pass away? Yeah, so this is where we get into this idea of what happens to us after we die. And to be completely and totally honest with you, the Bible is unclear on this. The Bible really doesn't say what will happen to us after we die. And so this is one of the great mysteries that many theologians have tried to talk about in their day and to write about and to theologize about and all those. But it's a mystery. But what we do know is that God is in the business of new creation, of transforming. And, the New Testament is really about God creating a heaven here on earth, and about how when Jesus comes, and you can read this one in Revelation, that the New Jerusalem will come down from heaven and God will transform this world into that heavenly place. Now, the question that becomes is, A, when is that going to happen, and if it is going to happen? And B, is maybe that happens after we die. We are part of that transformation. We are a part of God renewing our souls, our hearts and our minds and our souls, and changing us into something new. And so, God is in that business. He's not into do we get to go to heaven business. He's into transforming of our lives and our world into a new creation, whatever that may be. Paul talks about from this perishable body must put on imperishability, and our mortal body must put on immortality. That's a transformation of the body. So it's a mystery, really, about, do people get to see what's going on as they pass away on earth? Nobody really knows the answer to that question, and I'd really be skeptical about the Bible passage they are using to support them. But it's a mystery, and it's something we have to live with. We don't know. Nobody knows. And if somebody claims to know that answer, I would really question their belief. And this kind of ties hand in hand with the other one. Will we be united with our loved ones in heaven? My first inclination as I read these questions is, when do we say these things? We normally say about being reunited with their loved ones, and they get to watch over us, at funerals and that sort of things. When somebody's in grief, they're supposed to bring us comfort and peace to get through a difficult time. But again, there's nothing in our Bible that says either way that this will happen, yes or no. Is it possible? Absolutely. God can do wonderful and great things, but we need to remember that God is to transform us in our lives after we pass away. N.T. Wright calls it the life after death. After we die, we have this life with Christ. Whatever that may be, look like is the mystery. But something happens to transform us into being, the perfect being that God has created us to be. But there's no real simple answer, yes or no, to this. If I say no, I'm going to disappoint quite a few of you and break a lot of hearts by saying that. And if I say yes, then that falls on a very delicate line of truth versus fallacy. The last one about do pets get to go to heaven? I would like to think so. I mean, I have 2 dogs right now that I truly love, and I've had dogs in the past and cats and all those things, and I'm sure you do as well. And I guess the onus behind this question is does God look at creatures other than human beings in the same way? And to that, again, I have no idea. There's nothing in the Bible that says either way as well. But I would like to think that since God created them, God wants to care for them and comfort them and transform them as well into a new creation after death. What that means, do all dogs get to go to heaven? That movie back in the '90s and early 2000s. I don't know, but I know that God's grace is around for all people and probably all creatures as well, since God created them as well. So why not? Why not celebrate, the death of a loved pet as a possibility that we can be with them, or that they will be transformed and renewed in God's new kingdom when heaven and earth come together. I know this doesn't really answer the question to completion, because there's really no answer to these questions other than if you take a couple verses of the Bible out of context. But we do know that God will renew us, God will restore us, God will create in us a new being that is imperishable and immortal in some way, shape, or form. That's kind of what the Bible is about. God wants to live within us. We live within our communities of this new creation. This is God's whole plan. And what that looks like in the end, nobody really knows. I don't know what to tell you other than the fact that this is a mystery, one of the great mysteries of our faith. And there's really no good answer to this. But I do know that God will renew us and restore us into something new and great in his kingdom, whatever that may be. So thanks, Sue and Karen, for asking these questions, and we'll see you on Thursday when we have a couple more. Thanks, everybody. Have a blessed day. Bye.